Philosophy is all about our beliefs, our attitudes, and our values. And we try and work on our beliefs and our attitudes and values to tune up our worldview, to make it more capable of accurately guiding us through the world. And to do this, we employ rational and systematic processes to analyze our beliefs, right? So we need to figure out what we believe and why we believe in what we believe, and then develop arguments to support those beliefs and defend those beliefs against those who would seek to refute them. And we use logic to do that. So what we're going to be talking about today are some of the essential components of logical analysis. So we should begin here with belief. Well, a belief is just another word for a statement or a claim. A statement or a claim. And a statement is an assertion that something is or is not the case. So a statement then is either true or false. So in the previous lecture, I gave you an example of an empirical statement. Blood glucose levels drop when engaged in difficult cognitive reasoning. So that's a claim, right? It's a statement or a belief. And it can be either true or false. And we have a technical way of talking about this in philosophy. We say that statements are truth functional. That is, they have the property of being either true or false. And this distinguishes statements and claims from other types of sentences that we use. So take a look at this statement, and I want you to identify what this statement is asserting. The Surgeon General says that smoking is bad for your health. Now, this was intended to be somewhat misleading. Some of you may have said that what this statement is asserting is that smoking is bad for your health. Of course, if we look closely at the statement, what it's saying is that the Surgeon General says that smoking is bad for your health. So we really need to be careful when we're looking at what a statement is in fact asserting. Now, when we look at this statement, it can be either true or false. So if the Surgeon General did in fact say that smoking is bad for your health, then the statement is true, right? It has the property of being true. Corresponds to some actual state of affairs in the world. If the Surgeon General did not state this, then the statement is false, right? It doesn't actually correspond to some state of affairs in the world, so the statement would then be false. So statements are truth functional. They have the property of being either true or false. Now I'm going to give you 3 different statements, and I want you to ask yourself which of the following statements contains the claim that smoking causes cancer. Number 1, if smoking causes cancer, it is bad for your health. Number 2, since smoking causes cancer, it is bad for your health. Number 3, although smoking causes cancer, many people continue to smoke. So if you said 2 and 3, you are correct. Number 1 is a conditional statement. Right? So all that number 1 is doing is asserting a logical relationship between these 2 states of affairs. If smoking causes cancer, then it's bad for your health. It is not in fact stating that smoking causes cancer, it's just saying if smoking causes cancer, then it's bad for your health. We'll talk more about the logic of conditional statements at the end of this lecture. So which of the following sentences contains a claim? Let's just run through these real quick, and I want you to respond to yourself and answer this question. Which of the following contains a claim? A triangle has 3 sides. I am cold. Is God really all-powerful? I see bluish-yellow spots before my eyes. Forward march, soldier. The best explanation for his behavior is that he was in a trance. Is this the road to Oz? Dark ambient music is better than hardcore. There are black holes in space. So a couple of these don't contain claims, right? The questions, is God really all-powerful? Is this the road to Oz? Don't assert anything, right? They don't assert that something is either true or false. They're just asking a question. Likewise, we have a command in here, forward march, soldier. That is not a statement or a claim, right? It doesn't have the property of being either true or false. It's just a command. So let's talk about propositions just very briefly. A proposition refers to the information content of a statement, right? In essence, it's truth functionality. So we'll see this word proposition coming out throughout the course, and so we just want to be clear that we're using the words proposition, statement, and claim interchangeably, and really what we're referring to when we're referring to any of these is the truth functionality of the statement, right? The informational content of the statement, it's truth functionality.